Hey guys, it's Stacy, and today I have a spoiler-free review for you guys, and that review is on Shatter by Tahereh Mafi, and this book. Okay, so normally when I know I'm going to review a book, even though I don't do a lot of reviews, I try to be more critical of a book, but when reading this book, that just kind of like flew out the window, like because I ended up loving this book so much. But this book is about a girl named Juliet, and she has an ability where her touch like can kill people, and it's about her struggling with that. And they live in like this apocalyptic society where like pretty much everything's like dying, the birds don't fly anymore, and it's great. And so this follows Juliet and some other characters and about her powers, somebody who wants to use her powers, and this book is so beautifully character driven that it's amazing. From the beginning of the book to the end of the book, there was so much character development to me, and I gave this book a 4.5 stars. It would have been 5 stars, but I was trying to review it, but there was barely any world building in this book, in which necessarily that doesn't bother me most of the time. And it didn't really bother me in this because I read for characters. That is what I read for. Sometimes plots don't really matter to me, but I wish there was more about the world and why it is the way it is, but there wasn't. There was barely any. Most of it was about Juliet and her powers and the people she meets and where she ends up and stuff, and that's just how it went. And Juliet is a weird main character. I know a lot of people say she's really like whiny in this book, and I can see where they get that, but like I also understand why she's whiny, because I feel like if she wasn't and she was just like how people wanted her to be, it wouldn't have worked, because she is like afraid of herself. And I think that people think that's whiny because, you know, she's like doesn't want to be around people, she's afraid to be close to people because of touching them. But when we follow Juliet, it's just she's at one place and then she ends up at another, and somebody makes her a proposition, but they want to use her as a weapon, and she realizes that, and it just goes from there. And she has a lot of struggles in this book, and I just loved it. I read this book in one sitting, and it's amazing. And Tahereh Mafi's writing is really, really beautiful. I understand why now everybody says that, because it is very easy to read. Like, it flows so nicely. Her wording is just beautiful. And there's one thing I really liked in this book is where they marked out lines. I don't know if you can see that, but right here, like, it's what she was thinking versus like what she was saying or whatever. And I really, really like that. I thought it was neat because that's interesting. You don't see that a lot. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I love on the back how it says, like, it has the mark out again, and it has like, instead of a curse, it's a gift. Instead of a monster, she's more than just a human. And then it says lethal, her touch is lethal. Then it says her touch is power. And then it says I will fight back. And I just love that, and I cannot wait to read the second book and see where that goes and see how, because the ending of this book kind of actually did take me for surprise. There was like a turn where they end up and stuff, and she finds out more about why she has powers, pretty much. She doesn't really find out why she has them, but she learns more about like the whole power thing, which is really, really interesting. And it's just, this book was amazing, and if you have not read it, I would definitely recommend go reading this book because it's absolutely beautiful. The characters are what you should read this for. Don't read it for the plot or like the world, because there isn't much of that in this book. That's why I gave like a 4.5 stars, but I still overall loved it so much. I had so many feelings while reading this book, and I read most of it in one sitting. I read the first few pages earlier in the morning, and then the evening I read the rest of the book, and it was amazing. I laughed, I cried, everything. Loved it so much. Okay, so I guess that's it for this video, but yeah, go read this book if you have not already, and if you've read this book, what did you think about it? And so yeah, when I read the second book, there will also be a spoiler-free review for that, and the third one, because I'm loving this series. I love it. I like it a lot. That is it for today's video. I will see you guys on Friday. Bye!